So we're continuing to look at Jesus' invitation to come and follow him, and we find that in Matthew chapter 11, beginning in verse 28. And so as we find this invitation, Jesus tells us his purpose in him inviting us to take upon his yoke, to remove that yoke of the world. And so that is a process that we have to do. We have to remove that yoke of the world, and then we have to put upon Jesus' yoke. And so we do that by faith, and we find here the very purpose that Jesus is telling us to do this. In verse 29, he says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart." Jesus is saying, take upon my yoke. And as we looked at yesterday, the yoke is intended for two people. And so there, Jesus, yes, he's going to be your master, and he's going to be holding the reins, but he's also going to be walking beside you. Jesus is almighty. He could take upon many roles. He could take upon every role. And so he will walk beside you as he is your master, but he's also your friend, according to his own words. And so he's going to walk there beside you and help you carry that yoke and help you carry that load. And as you do that, Jesus said, you're going to learn from me. You're going to learn who I am, and you're going to learn my ways. And Jesus's ways are easy, it's because he is meek and lowly in heart. When we begin to recognize something, if we're going to have peace in this world, peace is only going to come through Jesus. He's the Prince of Peace. And when we talk about the gospel, the Bible calls the gospel of peace. And everybody says, we need peace in this world. We need peace in this world. It's only going to come through Jesus. It's the only way peace is ever going to come into this world is through Jesus. The only way peace is ever going to come into your heart is through Jesus. And when you learn of Jesus, and when you learn to walk with Jesus, and when you learn to walk in Jesus, because he says here, learn of me. Learn of me. He's giving you that invitation. Come walk beside me. Come walk with me. I'll help carry your load. And while I'm helping carry your load, learn of me. It's an invitation that Jesus is giving to be my disciple. And being a disciple of somebody is learning all about them, learning who they are, learning all of their ways, not just all of their teachings, but all of their ways, so you could walk just like them. And so that's what Jesus wants us to do, is walk just like them. I already read this verse the other day, but I'll read it again. Jesus said in verse 25 of Matthew chapter 11, he says, "At the same time, Jesus answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes." And so Jesus told us he wants us to come to him like babes, come to him like babies, because those who are wise and prudent, guess what? They're not really wise and prudent. They're just arrogant, and they're boastful, and their arrogance and their boasting is going to destroy them. And so we can either learn of their ways, the ways of the world, and we can, be imitators of them. The Bible says, be not conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so Jesus is saying, walk with me, learn of me, be my disciple. And in the midst of all of this, I'm going to be with you. And because I'm with you, your load is going to be light. Isn't that amazing? What better invitation will you ever receive than that? Friends, there is none. So receive Jesus. Receive his invitation. Come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. And I want you to know, as we're going to talk about tomorrow, his rest is true rest. His peace is true peace. His joy is true joy. And so when we think about this, when we learn of Jesus, walk with him, be his disciples, less and less of the world and the burdens of the world are in our life. More and more of Jesus and the peace of Jesus is in our life, because he is meek and lowly in heart, not weak. Oh, he's all powerful. Can't even comprehend his power, but he chooses to be meek and lowly. So turn to Jesus, call upon Jesus, receive his invitation if you've not done so already, and share this video so others can hear it and receive this good news.